I think this is my pointer. Yeah, all right, so just a geography lesson real quick. We know America is, there's Denver right here. Haiti is right here. It is part of the Caribbean. To get there, I've traveled from Denver to Miami and then fly down to Haiti, the Port-au-Prince area here. And let's see, yeah. So here's a little close-up view. You can see Cuba is close to it, Jamaica, Cancun. A lot of you have been to Cancun before. So it's in a beautiful Caribbean setting. You'd think it'd be gorgeous, right? That's the problem. It's not. As a country, it's a mess. I mean a mess. Because of their location, where they were located, most of the people there arrived from Africa as slaves. They were stolen from their country. They went to Haiti, and they ended up staying there. They are isolated. Because of their independence, they've been isolated for centuries, and it has really hurt the people. The government was run by a dictator and his son, or puppets, for so long that the government doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in office. It just doesn't matter. If you want to work in government, you do it so you can make money. And I don't mean just a salary. I'm talking graft. I'm talking under the table. I'm talking over the table. Bribes, whatever it takes. The culture of this country is built on that. It is built on bribes. As a country, by all metrics, Haiti, the poorest country north of the equator. The poorest country. Population almost 10 million. Get this, half of the population is under 21 years old. That tells you don't live to be very old in Haiti. It can be a hard life. For every 10,000 people, there's one doctor. So most people will not see a doctor in their lifetime. They just won't. As you can see, it's a mess. The government does not care about their people. I can guarantee that. And they care even less about the children of Haiti. The only time a child is worth something to the government is when it's up for adoption. Because there you go, there's cash money. That's going to line somebody's pockets. You know, there's nothing wrong with adopting people. I bless them for trying, absolutely. But you adopt one kid, or maybe even two, you take them out of the country, that only benefits those kids. You give a child a taste of the first country, a first world like America is, what are the odds of him returning back to his country eventually to help? They're pretty slim. When you come from the poorest country in the world to the richest country in the world, it's easy to forget where you came from. It really is. Let me tell you an airport story. This is the airport that you land in at Port-au-Prince. It's the freight side, so you can't see where the people go, but let me tell you a story and how this country works. After the end of the week, I was leaving. It was a Saturday morning. We were leaving. I go through, I check my bags, I get my boarding pass, and I look up, and there's probably 200 people to go through one security line. 200 people. Okay, fine, I got a couple hours, here we go, this is what I do. A guy taps me on the shoulder, a gentleman in full American Airlines uniform. Full American Airlines uniform. He works behind the counter. He says, hey, you want to go to the front of the line? I'm like, sure, why not? Okay, he says, okay, follow me. We go, and they have built this, in the inspection, they have built this little shed next to where the security line is. So I actually followed him, and I walked around, and I got in front of the line. He opened the ropes, and I stepped in front of the line, but they had built this line so that people behind me couldn't see what I just did. I got in front of 200 people. He wanted $5. I paid him $3. But that's the way this country works. He was supplementing his income. It was made for it. And to show you they don't trust the Haitians, I went through security. Take off your belt, take off your shoes, the whole x-ray thing. You go upstairs to the American Airlines gate, you go through security again. They do not trust the Haitian people. Full, take off your shoes, pull off your belt, go through security again. They do not trust it. This country is built on bribes. It is built on graft because there is no infrastructure. In America, it does not matter who's in charge, who the administration is, right? We still have electricity. We still have power. We have water we can drink. We have 911. I've been in Haiti twice. I've never seen a fire department there. You know, you just don't. We take public schools for granted. I would say there are no public schools in Haiti. There are a couple, but they're mostly just for rich and for the elitist. So most people don't have a chance to go. This is an example just of a house that we'd see every day. We'd drive by it. When it came down to it, this is the house. This is what people live. Oh, I know what you would call this. This is the definition of deplorable, okay? That word got messed up by somebody about a year and a half ago. This is deplorable, okay? This is what I'm talking about. Our own president used an unrepeatable word to describe Haiti before I left. It hurt. He has no clue. Right after the earthquake in 2010, Pat Robertson went on his television show and said literally that Haiti was attacked because they turned their back on God. I knew nothing about Haiti. I knew that was an ignorant statement, okay? If you look, there is evidence of bon Dieu. That's Jehovah in Haitian Creole. Bon Dieu is everywhere. I don't care what you see. The people are beautiful. Because of that isolation, they are still straight out of Africa when it comes down to it. They have been isolated, so they are a beautiful people. I was really impressed the first time and even more impressed the second time. They're clean. They can come out of a one-room dirt floor house with 5 kids and they come out clean. I don't know how they do it. I really don't know how they do it. It's just amazing. The people have always impressed me. They do clean up. This was last year. Just a street that we happened to go by, I could see the earthquake. This was last year. This is this year. They do clean up. It can happen. Most people do not own a car in Haiti. There's no way. Average income is $200 a month. Think about that. $200 a month, average income. Most people don't own a car. You either catch a ride with one of these fellas if you want to go somewhere. These are Chinese motorcycles, Haojin. I hear they just pound out the emissions. I mean, the carbon monoxide just gets pounded out. They can't sell them here, but they sell them there. So you catch a ride with one of these guys, and you take your life into your own hands. Because, man, they are driving in and out and weaving. They are crazy. Or you catch a ride on what is called a tap-tap. Tap is a privately owned truck or whatever you can make that'll haul people. And this is what impressed me. Right on this windshield it says, Jesus is my boss. In native language it says, Jesus saves right here. There's another reference to Jesus here, I just can't quite read it. But this is on all the public transportation, in almost every one of them. The previous one, this is was it in the country. In the city, they really get colorful with their tap-taps. They're called tap-taps because if you want to stop, you just tap somebody and they tap somebody and they tell you to stop. That's why they're called tap-taps. I'm not really sure how you see out of the windshield of these things. I'm really not sure how you do that, but that's what they do. This gentleman here would be considered a rich man. Man is by himself in his own Jeep, got the windows rolled up, got air conditioning. That's a rich man right there. Everybody else is cruising. Here's another view of a bus. Every bus, every tap-tap has biblical references. I was really surprised. I didn't see this till I got home and was looking at it on my computer. This one here, Exodus 14:14, right above, oh mercy, Savior. Exodus 14:14, I had to laugh when I realized what that was. First of all, the Haitian people love the story of Exodus. Moses taking you from the desolation to the promised land. They love that story. Now, Exodus 14:14, here's the situation. Moses has taken his people out of Egypt. They are standing in front of an ocean we know as the Red Sea. They can see on a hill the Roman army the Egyptian army has followed them, and they're camping on the hill. The next day, they're going to come down and kill them all. So people, the Israelites, the Jewish people, they're freaking out, right? Why you brought us out here to die in the desert? Exodus 14:14, Moses leaves a really simple message. It says, basically, The Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still. Now, a Haitian reference would be, the Lord will handle it, you just sit down and be quiet. But can you imagine RTD having the scripture of the week? There's even a Psalm scripture over here on this side, and angels painted on it. It's just, evidence is kind of neat. A crucifixion back of a public bus. Can you imagine? All right, now the people of Haiti, they're really colorful. They really are. Given what they have, the desolation, they wear bright clothes. Their painting, their artwork that they sell is very colorful. I've always been impressed with it, and you can get it pretty cheap too. But the representation of colors, the boldness, the brightness, I have a lot of respect for the people. I also have a lot of respect because, see, there's some of the hardest working people you will ever meet. Sun up to sundown, they're working hard. This was across from our hotel. This is the Payless shoe source, basically on the sidewalk. Every morning before sunrise, they would take these shoes and hang them up. Every single one of them. Every night at sundown, they would take them out, box them up, and haul them away. Every day they would do this. I have such respect for these people. Everything is bought on the streets. Everything is bought. Here's a bookstore on the streets. Here's another bookstore on the streets. Live animals. Now, you got chickens, you got roosters, there was turkeys, there was guineas, and most of them were alive. But, you know, it depends what you can eat them. I don't know what they do with them, but that's on the street. This is like a hardware store. You see the ladies covering the buckets on their heads? First of all, awesome posture. I mean, come on. There's no slack in there. But they're probably carrying water. That's probably water buckets coming from a place so they can go home and drink. There's a barbecue place on the streets. Eggs. What happens to eggs that sit in 91-degree weather in the sun all day? No, I'm serious. Somebody tell me. They were always there. And it was 91 every day. And these were on the sunny side of the street. So, I mean, do they survive? Is it good? Is it fermenting? I have no idea. Very strange. Okay, tire store. And there was gas stations. People say, oh, the gas stations. Yes. I didn't recognize any American names, but there's a gas station. And also, it didn't show it, but there's four pump stations. I can guarantee you there's one person for every pump station to pump it and collect the money. That's just the way it is. All right, a hardware store. Here's your Gap right here, Dress Barn. You know, but just watch out what you have to step over. There were hazards everywhere, but there's no lawyers because who are you going to sue, right? So what do? You pay attention when you're walking around. Even the school, the churches that we went to, man, these bars were sticking out of the floors and the walls. You know, there's no flags and the orange paint. No, you pay attention to what you're doing. It's kind of nice. There's a Gap right here where you can buy your clothes. This gentleman here, he was making furniture. Very, very handy. You can see he was take old stuff, make furniture, and there's furniture right back here. And he's got some kind of praise Jesus and the angel Gabriel and all that. Hardware store, building supplies, out on the streets. This is out in the country. Here, King Soopers right here. Every night, there's a market and food court. Now, we drove by this guy a couple of times before, we drove by him several times before I realized what he was actually selling. But it's bow ties. Colorful bow ties, you know, you want it on the street, it's there. This is the car wash and a mechanic repair thing. I think they were changing oil too, but it's just done in the dirt. All right, so if you want to make concrete, you start with big rocks. You take a hammer, you pound them into smaller rocks. You take a hammer, you pound them into smaller rocks, and you have concrete. This entire island is made out of limestone. And as you can see, they use it. This is what they build, because all the houses up on the hill, they are made with the same materials. All right, here's the only cattle that I saw. This one kid was in charge of all these cattle. See these ropes? He had leashes on all his cattle. They weren't getting away. He was in charge. Last year, after I went, before I went, there was a hurricane that had gone through there a couple of months before, and it just ravaged the place. All the trees looked tornado and whipped, and the whole place just looked kind of worn out. This year, it had grown back. It was beautiful. There was actually things that were pretty. This is an actual park. The only one I saw that was nice, an actual park. This was on the way to our Tomaso orphanage, and this is on the way back. Trust me, at 91 degrees, that looked pretty inviting. It really did. But there were things of beauty. I mean, just this scene here I took from my phone just driving by, there were things of beauty. I felt good about that. I really did. It was nice to see. And here's the one it makes it look like Jamaica, you know, might as well. It looks Caribbean, but it's a long ways from Jamaica. All right, here's why I'm here. Okay, at the time the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who then is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" Those pesky disciples always competing, right? Jesus called a little child to him and placed the child among them. And he said, "Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." Now, me personally, I know what that means. I know what that means to me. Because when I'm with kids, I'm a child myself. I've always been that way. I grew up in a town where kids around me were abused. They were. It was horrible. As early as first grade, looking back, kids were abused. It's always been my job to show children how adults should treat children, right? I got generations of good references, but that's the way my job is. Because when I'm with kids, I'm innocent. It is a wonderful feeling when I'm around children because they're children. And nothing's going to happen to them, and I'm in charge of them, and they're safe. So I love that. I love that scripture right there. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And here's a good part. And whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. So, this is what it's all about right here. Children. Most beautiful kids you'll ever see. Hope for Haiti's children. I could go on all day bragging about this charity. They have such a good track record. They have perfect records. They get 4-star ratings. Christy and I have agreed to support a kid. Every dime I give will go to that kid. It's nice. There's no administrative cost. That's paid otherwise. But I got nothing but good to say about these people. This all started right here at the Delmas Church of Christ. They started a Christian school. It's a good idea. They have spread out. These are all Church of Christ buildings. This is run by Church of Christ people. And I don't care if you believe in the Church of Christ philosophy or not, you have to know one thing, that this is done right. That's the best part about it. The mission that I went on, it was 2 weeks. There's basically a 1 week and then 2 weeks, because they've grown so big, they have to have 2 weeks of doctors to see everybody. We went to church at the Cazo church building, which was kind of nice. They only have one room for the men and the women to meet, so men sat over here. This is Dr. Adam teaching a lesson through an interpreter, and women sat over here. And they got taught, also by a lady on this side here. After that, we got to go out. This is still Sunday, so after lunch, we got to go out into the Cazo orphanage, which is where the fun starts. This is where the kids. This is the first thing that happened that knocked me over off my... I walked in that courtyard, I heard my name. Jeff Boles, Jeff Boles. You could have knocked me over with a feather. They remembered my name from last year. I didn't remember their name. I do now. I guarantee you I do now. Also, a couple of things. There's a little table over here. You can see the kids are learning to make bracelets like this. They're learning skills, which is nice because what they're learning is business. They learn, you spend money, you buy the materials, you make the things, you sell them, you get the money back. So with that money, they learn that they return some to the business, they give some to the church. If there's anything left over, they get to keep some for themselves. So, you know, they're not just warehousing kids. They're learning, they're teaching them stuff. It's nice. It's a full school. Also, Keely. I was telling, Keely used to be in Betty and I's kindergarten class, kindergarten, first grade. And I was telling her about the kids that don't have anything. They're orphans, and they're very poor. She gave us a bunch of toys, boxes of toys to take and give to the kids. I bagged them up, and this afternoon, after I went and grabbed my friend Anderson. You'll meet him later on. And I showed him the toys, and I took out my phone. And I grabbed an interpreter so he would understand what he would see. And on my phone is Keely. It just happened to be like the one time Keely wore a hat to church. I took a picture. This might have been our last day in Sunday school, was it? I think it might have been. But anyway, I wanted him to know. So I took my phone out and I said, this is Keely. She wanted me to give you guys these gifts. Little cars, little toys, a beautiful assortment. Then I asked Anderson if he would pass them out. And it was cool because I watched him, and he did. He went and he passed them out to the kids, and I watched the joy in their faces from above as, you know, they would get a car or a toy and they would start playing with it, and the joy, you wouldn't believe what you did. It was really cool. It was very touching, so I thank you for that. All right, so this was just simply Sunday afternoon. We also set up for the clinic, because basically what we have done, we take over a church building like this, and we set up a clinic. And then kids from, I think we saw 6 different schools over the next week would come to us for this medical mission. Also, just to show you, the kids, they want to get close. They love to get close. They are fascinated with you. So last year I wasn't really comfortable with it. I mean, now anymore, you know, you can't even let a child sit in your lap. You know, we have all these taboos and things that are going on. They don't know about that in Haiti. They want to get close. One day, I went out there and just sat down in the orphanage just to see what would happen. Oh, I got swooped on. There was about 15 kids around me, and they just want to touch you. They want to feel you. I've never had so many fingerprints on my bald spot in my life. I mean, it didn't freak me. I embraced it, and talk about feeling with love. It was the best feeling ever. It really was, because whatever you do, they want to get close. There's no such thing as personal space in Haiti. You'll see the pictures of the kids, and man, they are smashed together. All right, this is why I'm here. Annual Child Care Clinic. I actually made the brochure. This is me right here. The back of me from last year. This is the part of their website. Now, it may not seem like much, you know, once a week, okay, we go to Haiti. But like I said, this is probably the only doctor these kids will see. And it's not just a doctor, it's a bunch of things. Here's some kids that have been walking up. They had to walk up a hill to get to us, but some of these kids would travel 6 hours. I'll show you a group of kids that traveled overnight just to do this. It's that important. All right, so you mentioned the kids, how they line up tight. Boy, they do. They would line up, they would go through registration. These kids here, they look tired, don't they? They really do. This was described as the poorest of the poor. And in Haiti, that says a lot. These are from the Pagest area. These guys walked down a mountain, down what was described as a scary trail, where you have to have escort. They walked down a mountain, they got to the river, they took a river shuttle, you know, rowboat somehow shuttle. They walked to a school, spent the night at a school, and then about 3 hours later, the next day, they came to us. You don't think this was important? All right, this is what I did. Photo station. I took pictures of 844 kids. Last year it was 796. They've grown 50. There's 50 more than last year. The previous week had 50 more, so they've grown by 100 kids. So yes, this is my interpreter. Oh, what a sweetie. Katura Emmanuel was her name. Talk about a sweet name. And this girl loves the Lord. She came through the program. She's 23 years old. We had some amazing conversation. At one time she looked at me and she says, you only speak one language? She was working on her 4th. That's for sure. Oh, Keely, do you recognize that bracelet right there? In the toys that Keely gave me, I went through them all, and I found that little bracelet, and I actually wore it for several weeks, and I told Keely, the first person to notice it gets it. Well, she noticed it, Keely, and that's hers. All right, so here's some of the pictures that I took. Look at these precious children. Look at this. This is what I did, 844 of them. They are beautiful. And I did a pretty good job of making them smile. You wouldn't believe what the word for smile is. It's an Arkansas fan. Suey! I kid you not, that's how you say it. You say suey, that means smile. It took me about a day and a half to not feel silly. Sometimes I want to say suey pig, right? Yeah, Arkansas. But that's the word. Suey is smile. It really is. Okay, so I got a lot of them to smile. I couldn't get everyone to smile. There's a really good chance I'm the first white man she's ever seen. Knowing where I come from, where she comes from, I can almost guarantee you I'm the first set of blue eyes she's ever seen when it comes down to it. So yeah, a lot of them, they would just stare at you, especially the little ones. I loved it. They would just stare at you. This little guy here, notice how he's blurry? He wouldn't quit moving. He would just look at me and squeal. It was just wonderful. I had such fun with them. And you can see these two guys here, they've already gone through the process. They've probably gotten their gift bags already. With the gift bags, that's part of it. They get stuff like, I say gift bags. These are needy bags. They get, washcloths, underwear, socks, toothpaste, soap, stuff that you need. I took a bunch of calculators that they give to the school-age kids, and it's just part of the importance of it all. Now, the kids that I just showed you, all these kids here, I could have showed you a bunch of different ones, but these here are unsponsored children. Those portraits there. Christy and I had decided we were going to sponsor a kid. It's $36 a month for me to sponsor a kid. And what that does, that makes sure he gets to stay in school. That buys his books, that buys his uniform, that buys his meals 5 days a week. It's really important. Now, how do you walk into a room and pick a kid? When I said I'll pick one, I didn't realize I could, what I was up against. You can't. There's absolutely no way you can walk into a room and say, okay, you're good, I'll take care of you. There's no way you can do that because the kids are just beautiful. So I said, okay, I'll take the first one. First one that comes along. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Mavins Adane. Now, when I took Mavin's picture, he did not know that his future in his school had been taken care of by my wife and I. He had no idea. So after I took his picture, through an interpreter, I explained to him that my wife and I were going to sponsor you. And as far as you want to go in school, we will be there to take care of you. He now knows. And he's happy. Very, very nice. A really good feeling. I mean, it's $36 a month. And, there's no administrative cost. It goes to the kid. That's the best part. The government doesn't get any of it. It just doesn't. Okay, so after they get their picture taken, the next part is interview. I did this last year. It was kind of fun. I did it for a few days. But as far as the interview, this is how you get to know the kid. The information is written down. You find out needs, you find out wants, and a lot of this information goes back, to their sponsor, which is why we're here. This lady, Cynthia, she's interviewing one of the kids that she does sponsor. That was kind of cool because she's been sponsoring him for years. So she took a lot longer. Everybody else is gone and they were still talking. But the interview is really nice. You have an interpreter, of course, but you find out, different things like favorite food, where do they get their water? A lot of them would tell me, we get our cleaning water from the river and our drinking water from the stream. What's the difference? A lot of them don't have clean water. If there's a problem, they can bring in a nurse almost right away. This is a nurse that jumped in because there was something they wanted to discuss and see what was important. They also get height and weight because you want to make sure that they're growing, right? Year after year, if the kid's not growing, that's a problem, even with limited food. So you see basically what the progress is. After that, there's a nurse's station where, of course, the vitals are checked, more interview, more people, more more interpreters. I got to tell you about this guy here, Frank. This man here, I called him Brooklyn. He was such a character. If you remember the Haitian people of the 84, 85, the Haitian boat people that jumped on a boat and went north and ended up in Florida, he was one of them. He ended up in Brooklyn, New York, born and raised, found the Lord, came back to his country to help. That's rare. And that is total respect. It really is. Total respect. More doctors getting a full checkup. Oh yeah, here's the doctors. This thing is fast. It's really nice that they can do this as far as being able to every kid gets their own time. You know, it's not private by any means, but every kid gets a thorough checkup because we really want to know what's going on. They really do. And then there is a pharmacy. Everybody got a deworm pill. That was just pretty much standard. And then a lot of kids came in with ringworm. You know, you could just see it on their scalp and on their skin. It was horrible. But if that wasn't checked, there was probably nothing else would happen. Because of this annual clinic, it becomes really important. And this is part of the pharmacy here. This girl here, a lot of ladies make dresses. I know Betha has made dresses and gift bags and such. It was like 110 degrees and she got this dress and she put it on immediately. And she wore it all day. You bet she was proud. This lady from Oklahoma made all these dresses with all these different animals. It was really, really a wonderful thing to witness. The kids, I had to actually wait for kids to get away from her so I could see her, because there was probably 10 at one time when I noticed this going on. But I kid you not, the kids, they want to get close. They really want to be able to see if it comes off. You know, it's just amazing the way they do it. All you have to do is just step outside. That was the coolest part. Just step outside and the first time it really freaked me out. It really did. But now you're like, yeah, bring it on. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Let's have it. And it's fun to have because the kids, they need love. They really do. You can tell. One day, I went out and I decided I'm just going to sit and let the kids play with me. And I gave my phone to Anderson, the guy in the glasses. And I said, go take some pictures. And he's like, no, I'm not going to take pictures. I'm going to give it to my friend, Ndeme, here in the middle. Ndeme. Ndeme's the photographer. He took pictures because Anderson wanted to hang out with me. So I just let it go. They took pictures. I wish I had time to show them all to you. I could make a gallery. It was just amazing what he did. I didn't even think about it until I got home and put them on my computer. And I was going through them. Well, I didn't take these. I'm like, oh, I remember. Look at some of this stuff that he did. It's beautiful. First of all, I think he's sweet on this girl. He took more of her than anybody. My man Ndeme is all boy. I like it. But some of these pictures, he posed these kids, and they're just sweet. They are so precious. It's something I would have never done, because I don't pose kids. I just take them as their natural stuff. But I just thought some of these were really kind of neat. This one here, it strikes me. It might go on the wall at home. It was a poignant picture. And this girl can sing. Let me tell you, she can sing. Also, he gave me some videos. Let's see if this works.
Le temps, nous payons la conséquence, profite à nous. Voilà qui a le temps, profite à nous, profite à nous. Voilà qui a le temps, profite à nous, profite à nous. Voilà qui a le temps, profite à nous, profite à nous. Profite à nous.
Several of these. It was really a blessing. Every picture you see of me, I got this John Elway goofy grin on my face. I really do, because when I was taking pictures of the kids, you know, I try to interact with as they take their photograph. And one lady was watching me and she says, "You're really good at this." And I had to explain to her, I am in my element. This is what I do. I take pictures of kids for a living anyway. It's sports photography, but so what? The kids are kids. I don't care where you go. I've seen them all over the world. They're the same. They are innocent. They just need a chance, right? So, you see me with this goofy John Elway picture. In all the pictures, unless I'm trying to make somebody smile. I was trying to make him smile, and that's the best I could do. This one also might go on the wall. This is Anderson right here in the stripes. He's the one that I gave the toys to hand out, and we hung out a lot. He's the one that remembered my name, and just floored me. On the very last day, yeah, you can kind of tell. You can kind of see how red my eyes are right there. Whew. The very last day that we were there, and he knew we were leaving. They were in the uniforms because they had been sitting there for 2 weeks watching all the kids go through the medical thing. They got to go on the Wednesday before we left, so their very last day. Now, Anderson knew how to work my phone. I let him play with it a lot. He was real disappointed I didn't have any games on it. You know, no game, you know. Sorry, man, I don't have any games on it. But he knew how to work my phone. He walks up to me on the last day, and he asked for my phone. Okay, fine. You know, here you go. He would take some pictures. But he turns on my phone, and he points at it. And he points at it, and he says, no interpreter was needed, because it's basically, he says something, 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 and messy, and he points her. Messy means thank you. So I said, you mean Keely? He goes, yes, Keely, Keely, we, Keely, Keely. And he says something, so Messy Keely. So he reaches into his pocket, and he breaks out a bracelet, and he says, Messy Keely. So Keely, I have a bracelet for you for passing out gifts. This was made by the orphans. So you put it on, here, put it on. Take it, and you just tighten up the string. This is really a genius little string. But that is a gift straight out of Haiti. So thank you very much, Keely. That incident alone gave me the thanks that I need, because I was fulfilled, you know, before we left. I was happy. I had loved what I had done and seen and enjoyed and seen the growth in the kids and seen them again and watch them grow. But that lesson right there from Anderson to you floored me. Absolutely. You see how red my eyes are? It was hard to say goodbye, because it was really very, very, very sweet thing to do. In fact, my eyes look really wicked in that photo. But it was a really sweet thing to do. And I appreciate that, Keely, and they appreciated it. And just the fact that somebody actually stopped to thank you for doing that showed me a lot. The kids taught me something while we were there. You know how we do high fives, we do knuckles, we do all this stuff. The very first day, that Sunday, we were interacting with them, and I was, you know, doing the knuckles and exploding, and they were like, oh, no, 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 watch. And they stick their thumb out, and they would do a high five, or do a knuckles, and then they would look you in the eye and do this. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool, you know, so yeah, we did that. The next day, another school comes in, and I'm taking their pictures, and I start doing that to the kids, and they're doing it back to me. They're doing the same thing. So I go up to one of my interpreters. His name is Michael Jackson. His real name, Michael Jackson. I say, Michael, these kids are doing this cool thing with the knuckles and this. And he goes, I'll show you what it means. He goes, you put out your thumb, we are equals. You do this, respect. That blew me away. We are equals, respect for your fellow man. That taught me so much. That really did. That taught me a lot. So, that was kind of like my medical mission. It may seem like a little insignificant 1 week out of the year, but the Hope for Haiti thing goes on all year long, okay? They do take a summer break for school, but they're constantly building. The Tomazo orphanage that I went to, they are ready to double capacity. They've only had 12 kids in the orphanage. They have built a new dormitory. They're ready for 12 more. They're going to split boys and girls now. It's kind of neat. But the thing about Haiti, there will always be people outside looking in. There will always be people in need. We are told in the Bible that the poor will always be with us. And we are also told that not all will make it to heaven. We know that. The nicest part about that is it's not up to me to decide who goes to heaven and who doesn't. It is my job, it is our job to send out the message and to give them the tools so they can succeed by themselves. Can I change the culture of Haiti? No. Can the Lord and the people of Haiti change themselves? Absolutely they can. So that's my whole point. When it comes down to it, I can't change it, but the Lord can. And that's why this was such a good second time back. The first time there, I didn't know what to expect, and it was all overwhelming and hot. And going back this time, it really made a lot of sense. And I really thank you for sending me there, because you guys did it. I couldn't have done it on my own. And I really thank you for it. So I do appreciate that chance. And I'm hoping I get to do it again, because I loved seeing this work. And now I get to work on my Haitian Creole. And I didn't cry once. Yay! But listen, thank you. I do have one more video. It's just it might be kind of blurry, I don't know. One more video that I took of the actual clinic that we did. This year, there was not an eye doctor, and there was not an ear doctor. They do that every 2 years. So next year, we can start collecting glasses, old prescription glasses. They'll reuse them, man. They'll give them away. They really will. But listen, thank you for your time, and I do appreciate it. And this is just a little short video. It's like 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, watch how he high fives me here. I know.
Okay, so that was photography station, and welcome to Kazoo. So we start off at registration. I take their picture, and then they cruise along. And these are the interview stations, so the sponsors can see what's going on, catch up with their kids. This was fun. I did this last year. I really enjoyed talking to the kids. Anyway, from interview, we go over to height and weight, check themselves out. Then this is a nurse's station. Your basic vitals, temperatures, etc. One thing we want to do is make sure they keep growing. So more nursing stations up here. My man Frank. Everybody gets a good checkup here. Vitals are marked down. And then these are doctors over here. Very valuable.
You said diarrhea? Last few days?
Okay, so from the doctor station, this is the gift station. This is pretty funny.
I don't know. I didn't know if it did or didn't. I didn't touch it.
I gotta show off these t-shirts. Check it out. Messed up people, merciful God. Ain't that the truth? From gift station, as you can see, we got lots of goodies, lots of clothes, specialties here. There you go. Alright, so after gift station, they get the dewormers and the gummy vitamins. Pharmacist. Pharmacy. Hi guys. Passing out the good stuff. And then finally, they go to a finishing station here just to get their photograph from last year. And here they are.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.